following is a presentation of the High Spot Podcast. Making their way to the ring, talking about the world of professional wrestling, the team of Jeff Martin and the trendsetter Brian Perga, the Jersey Wrecking Crew.
What is going on, guys? This is Jeff Martin, and you're listening to the High Spot Podcast. Now, this is the part of the show where I introduce my tag team partner in crime, the trendsetter Brian Perga, but he is off on assignment. He will be back with me next week. We are talking FastLane right now, and so many other things going on in the world of professional wrestling, so we're going to get right to it. And let's start with this past Monday night on Raw, recapping all the week's headlines and all the latest rumors here on the show. Make sure you follow us on all our social media at High Spot Podcast. Also catch us on the B+ Player Radio Network, The Shining Wizards, and of course, Cheap Pops Podcast Network too. You don't want to miss it. We're on Spreaker, iTunes. Check us out there. Like I said, FastLane is this Sunday. We're going to preview it for you guys here today. So let's get started now. This past Monday, we saw a heel turn, and we're talking about, of course, the much talked about triple threat that we're all going to expect to see at WrestleMania between Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey, the Raw Women's Champion. As we saw this past Monday night, she now has taken back her title, and she will defend it, but there's so many complications, so many twists and turns, and I've talked about with the trendsetter for a long time now that, all these explanations, all these twists and turns, are to me so unnecessary to tell the story that at one point you kind of lose interest as a fan. I know I've lost interest a little bit with this story. I mean, Becky Lynch is the man. We've seen her interfere now on Raw and SmackDown, and it's kind of tough for me to be sold on the fact that Becky Lynch won the Royal Rumble. She earned her spot. Now she got suspended by Vince McMahon, saying that she was too big for the WWE, and Charlotte Flair was her chosen one. So then Charlotte hops in to the main event with Ronda at WrestleMania, but now everything is starting to come together, and now it'll be Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. If Becky wins, she secures her spot at WrestleMania, and it looks like it will be that triple threat that everyone's talked about. We've kind of known for the last month or so that this was the direction that WWE wanted to go into, so that's what we're going to get. We're going to get Charlotte, we're going to get Ronda, and we're going to get Becky Lynch as our main event for WrestleMania. All signs point to that. But the interesting thing is, again, why all these twists and turns to get to this point where you're going to tell me, you're going to explain to me, which I haven't been, nothing's been explained to me as far as why Becky Lynch has secured her spot, by winning the Royal Rumble match, the Women's Royal Rumble match, and now she has to beat Charlotte Flair just for her to get back into the main event of WrestleMania, the triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship. I don't get it. I don't expect WWE to explain it to me, but I do expect this to be the main event for FastLane. And to me, when I look down the card for FastLane, I'm, okay, is this a must pay-per-view that I got to watch as the last pay-per-view, on this road to WrestleMania, on this long and winding road to WrestleMania in New York City on April the 7th? I don't know. It doesn't really do anything for me. The fact that SmackDown continues to kill it, though, with amazing show after show, continues to give opportunity after opportunity, and still, to me, is the show that I prefer to watch. But again, though, we go now back to Monday night, and a very interesting twist now is I think that the audience, the WWE Universe, has kind of been torn between who to root for, whether it's Charlotte, whether it's Ronda, whether it's Becky Lynch. The sentiment has been the underdog of Becky Lynch. We've seen her evolution heading into from SummerSlam all the way to now. Charlotte kind of had, a little bit of a lull, but then at the Survivor Series when she filled in for Becky Lynch, she kind of by going crazy on Ronda Rousey, kind of solidified her character. And Ronda Rousey, she's that, whether you like it or not, she's that wrestler that a lot of people believe has been handed opportunity after opportunity. I don't believe so. I think she's earned it. And I think she had a killer promo this past Monday night because we saw the evolution of Ronda Rousey. We saw her turn into this heel. Listen, the fans have booed her since Survivor Series. The fans have actually cheered when she got beat up by Charlotte Flair. So, they have cheered for that. But it's been few and far between cheers for Ronda Rousey as she's headed into WrestleMania. She's tried to be the nice guy, but after this past Monday night, turning on the WWE Universe.
No, I'm not your dancing monkey. Not anymore. Damn your fantasies. Damn the man. Screw the woo. And no more Mrs. Nice Pick.
Oh, and Ronda Rousey goes right after Charlotte and Becky.
So tonight when you were giving your promo, and
it wasn't a promo. They gave me other things to say. I didn't fucking say it. That's the thing. It's not a fucking promo. It's not an act. I'm not going out there and doing their fucking act anymore. They can say it's part of the act to kind of try to save face to everybody else, but it's not an act. I'm going out there, I'm doing whatever the hell I want, and they can explain it away however they want, but fuck them. Everybody, WWE Universe included. I meant that I'm going to disrespect the sport that they all love so much. Oh, don't break kayfabe, Ronda. Wrestling's it's scripted. It's made up. It's not real. None of those bitches can fucking touch me. The end.
No more nice, happy-go-lucky Ronda Rousey. Screw the woo. F it to the man. Basically, Ronda Rousey is now on a mission. Her mission is to defend that Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania in what will be the first ever, in my opinion, and everybody's opinion, will be the first ever women's match to main event a WrestleMania in New York City. That is a feat in its own. It's been an amazing year and a half for the females. Congratulations to them. And it will culminate with one of the most amazing feats that no one thought would happen in a while, and that is a women's match main eventing WrestleMania. And it happens, I believe, in a lot of fans' eyes, it'll happen, at this year's WrestleMania in New York City. So Ronda Rousey now turns. She awaits the outcome of FastLane and what will happen between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. So many things in that aspect, but I think we're going to get our match, our triple threat match at WrestleMania, and finally all the questions will be answered. Hopefully, you'd like to think that with a few more weeks left till Mania, that they kind of set everything straight now and we get on that path where it's going to be Charlotte, Ronda, and Becky. Let the promos begin. I give credit to Ronda. She did a really good job with this promo, just being upset, having it up to here with trying to please the fans, and now she is doing it for herself. Screw everything. She is going to defend her Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. So that is one of the matches at FastLane that we're looking forward to watching, but there's so many other things that also happen on Raw. It seems to me like, they're planting the seeds, if not, have already planted the seeds of a Batista versus Triple H matchup. Now, we saw the birthday party for Ric Flair that never happened, and Batista made his return and kind of wanted to get the attention of Triple H. Well, this week on Monday Night Raw, it was time for Triple H to address the whole Batista situation, and from the Wells Fargo Arena in Philadelphia, this is what Triple H had to say to Batista.
You were looking at the man, Dave. Look me in my eyes like a man if you can. Stand up to me. Tell me what you want, and I will give you everything that you want. You want my attention, Dave? You've got it.
Now, that is Triple H, an emotional Triple H, because, of course, the previous Monday night, Batista comes and attacks Ric Flair on his 70th birthday celebration, and if there's one way to get Triple H's attention, that is to, beat on one of his all-time greatest friends and, obviously someone he respects so much, and that is the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. I wouldn't be surprised if Ric Flair finds a way maybe to be in Triple H's corner for this matchup, but I guess what everyone wants to see is, will Triple H get that win over Batista? Batista has had his number. Of course, when you look back at past WrestleManias, look at WrestleMania 21 in LA, and you think about that at the Staples Center, Batista kind of, came to his own by defeating Triple H, breaking away from Evolution, taking the world title that night. So we will see if, Dave Batista, what his intentions are, as we expect him to be there this Monday night to kind of maybe go face-to-face with Triple H. We will find out, but it looks like we're going to get Triple H and Batista at WrestleMania. Now, I talked to the Trendsetter about this before, and hey, listen, it's not taking a spot from anybody, but I would have loved to see someone else challenge Triple H, whether it be a young guy in the back, someone that, could really get that robe off Triple H. But, Triple H has really done a lot. His win-loss record in WrestleMania kind of is, very lopsided on the L category, so he has taken a lot of losses recently. So maybe this is a way for Triple H and Batista to kind of close the door on this rivalry. But we're going to get Batista and Triple H, and Batista will be there on Raw this Monday night. Hopefully we'll have a face-to-face, but this match is on, folks. It's going to be a match at WrestleMania, and kudos to Triple H for that speedy recovery for, it was a few months back that this happened, and now for him to be back training in game shape, no pun intended there, but to be in shape to have this match at WrestleMania is amazing. There's not that many more matches in Triple H's card because, he's taking more of that role backstage, and, the one time you'll probably see Triple H is at a WrestleMania. But, enjoy it while you can, because this is probably going to be Batista's final run. He wanted a final run in the company. That's what he's going to get. So we're going to find out, just how this happens, what's going to lead to the road. It's going to be very interesting to see. But again, though, this will be probably the final time you'll ever see this match. So I guess for the fans, it's something that you can enjoy. Now, one thing that you might see for the last time is going to be a Shield reunion. Now, Roman Reigns came back from leukemia. He is back in the ring, and we're going to see him at FastLane. They're going to, they're going to be there. They're going to have Dean Ambrose. They're going to have Seth Rollins, and they're going to have Roman Reigns take on Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and Baron Corbin. So we're going to see what happens there. Now, a lot of speculation on Dean Ambrose's status. From what I've heard is that it's still 100% that he's leaving. You don't know. Maybe Roman Reigns can convince him. But this past Monday night, maybe a Shield reunion with Seth and Dean coming back. Maybe this is just what Dean Ambrose needs to kind of get him motivated to re-sign with WWE. But this past Monday night, though, we saw the reformation once again of the Shield. And you can definitely believe that.
I want to get the band back together one last time.
In the words of Roman Reigns, let's get the band back together one last time.
There you go, one last time. And then, of course, Dean Ambrose really was not too receptive of it in the beginning, but when Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, and Bobby Lashley attacked his brothers, Dean Ambrose had seen enough. And then, of course, they put the fists in the middle of the ring, those three fists that we've known to love, and the formation of the Shield as you know it now, maybe for the last time, will happen at FastLane. So a lot of stuff to go on, man. I mean, what a Monday night. And then you had SmackDown where, congratulations to Samoa Joe for becoming the new United States champion. Well-deserved. A lot of people were kind of saying, oh, he hasn't won a title. He hasn't done this and that. He's been kind of more the bully so far that kind of, gets beaten and then, tucks his tail between his legs. He's had some memorable rivalries. Amazing one with AJ Styles. The one with Jeff Hardy, not so much, but still very good. And Samoa Joe has just been a mainstay on SmackDown Live. It's good to see him now carry that U.S. Championship. He beat R-Truth. And let's see now if that U.S. title can get back to where it used to be when John Cena was doing those open challenges. We'll see what happens now. But now it is the reign of Samoa Joe as the U.S. champion. So congratulations again to Samoa Joe. Very well deserved. Kevin Owens now, we know, will go to FastLane and take on Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. We'll see what happens with that and what happens with Kofi Kingston, because a lot of people have expressed their desire for Kofi Kingston to main event at WrestleMania, to be there on the biggest stage. He's been there for 11 years, never really had that opportunity for a championship run. And with the return of Kevin Owens, it's kind of been like, whoa, he kind of got pushed back to the back burner. But that's not the case. It looks like WWE knows how to build this underdog story, and we're going to see Kofi and Daniel Bryan somehow. Where Kevin Owens plays into this, I don't know. Not really sure. But I do believe at the end of the day, at Mania, you're going to see Daniel Bryan defend the WWE Championship against Kofi Kingston. Am I a fan of that? Not particularly. Nothing against Kofi, but in my ideas, in my eyes, I really see it being more of a headliner guy. I don't want to call Kofi a B-plus player. I do not want to go there. He has been amazing. He has been a very important person. But when you are put in a group, in a tag team with the New Day, which is, let's be honest, they're there to put smiles on people's faces. They're very comedic. The pancakes, the unicorns, all that, the merch. I get it, their faces, but again, though, it's tough to take somebody seriously, and now if he maybe distance himself from the New Day, which, again, for marketing purposes, that would not be the best idea, but I just believe that, in all seriousness, kind of that respectability or that that belief that on the biggest stage Kofi can do it. I don't know if it's just the idea that him being paired up with the New Day still kind of makes me not take him seriously enough, but the respect is there. I may have misspoken there on the respect factor. I do respect Kofi Kingston. He is an amazing talent, but is he the kind of guy that could main event WrestleMania? Would you be there glued to your seat for that matchup for Kofi or Daniel Bryan? Let's be honest, folks. Let's be totally serious. Now, you're going to get Ronda, you're going to get Becky and Charlotte. That's going to be the main event. Then you're going to get Brock and Seth, which I'm not too, keen on, but still, is Kofi and Daniel Bryan going to keep you glued to your seat, the very frozen seat maybe that you could see at MetLife Stadium? I just don't know. I'm just kind of torn. I would love to tell you here that I want to see Kofi and Daniel Bryan, but it just really doesn't do anything for me, quite honestly. And I don't want to be that guy to downplay the main event, but it just shows you the difference between the names. Like Daniel Bryan, yes, he is that underdog and he is a heel character, but I don't know. Just you're going to get Brock and Seth. Now the name's Daniel Bryan, of course, is huge, but you need that other guy. Like, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, we've already seen it. I don't know what exactly you could do to make that main event, special. Now, take one thing for certain, is that WWE Championship match is going to get lost in the shuffle. It's not going to be anywhere near the end of the card. You may see that third to last, fourth to last, but you are not seeing that WWE Championship defended anywhere near close to the end of that card. I can guarantee you that. So if Kofi has his WrestleMania moment, remember this, to the way that the WWE Championship has been treated the last year and a half or so, even with the likes of an AJ Styles and a Daniel Bryan holding on to that. The WWE in general, Vince McMahon and everybody else, does not hold that championship in that higher regard. That SmackDown Live Championship, which I call it, which should be blue, by the way, is not held in that high regard for it to be anywhere near the end of that WrestleMania lineup. So just think about that, though. And I'm not sure that another opponent would change the lineup. But yes, Kofi deserves it, but I just don't know if I'm that highly motivated or that excited as some other people are to see Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan. Yes, it was a great moment at Elimination Chamber. Yes, I popped. Yes, I thought we might get a title change. And yes, I thought we might get Daniel Bryan maybe regaining that title, that championship at Fastlane, but I did not expect to see Kofi Mania running this wild, heading into WrestleMania, which I think we're going to get Kofi and Daniel Bryan. But are you excited about it? Can you honestly tell me, Jeff, I'm excited about Kofi and Daniel Bryan? I truly am. So all that stuff going on. Asuka will take on Mandy Rose. Asuka suffered an injury this past weekend. She seems like she's okay. What is the plan for Asuka? What is the plan for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship, which has, again, taken a back seat to the Raw Women's Championship? But it all happens, though, in April in New York City, but Fastlane is this Sunday. So let's go over the card real quick. Kickoff show, Rey Mysterio and Andrade Cien Almas. How is this on the kickoff show? I don't understand. I think it's Andrade now, so Andrade and Rey. What an amazing matchup this is going to be. We've already seen some glimpses of what this could be, what kind of rivalry this could be if done right. We're going to get it on the kickoff show. I don't get it, but that's what you're getting at Fastlane. And this is definitely a match that I would love to sit down and watch, and I think I will. And I'm going to go Andrade gets the win here. I'm all in on Andrade. It has to be now the time that you go, that you roll, that you give him the ball and let him roll with it, because I think Andrade is one of the most talented people on that SmackDown roster. Raw Tag Team titles are on the line in a triple threat match. The Revival. Boy, we could do a whole show on the way that the Revival has been booked, but they are still the Raw Tag Team champions. A very beleaguered tag team heading into Fastlane. You get Aleister Black and Ricochet, the unlikely pairing. I still don't get it. But okay, they've been very successful. And then you get Chad Gable and Bobby Roode, kind of like the third team in there. They get their shot to get the titles back. I don't give Bobby Roode and Chad Gable a snowball's chance. And it could be now the flavor of the month where it's Aleister Black and Ricochet that are the chosen ones. And there goes the push for the revival. Thank you so much. There is your month. Shut up. Now, go to the back seat now. I just don't get the booking of the revival. They're much more deserving of what they're getting. Yes, they are the tag team champions, but it's far from the push that they deserve. Again, WWE seems like, okay, let's go. Let's push these tag team matches. But then they do everything they can to mess it up. And that is the revival. In a few words to describe them, it's messed up. And I think we're going to get Aleister Black and Ricochet, your new tag team champions. The Women's Tag Team Championship. Hey, you know what? Let's push the Women's Tag Team Championship. Let's have Bayley and Sasha in consecutive weeks fight singles matches against Tamina and Nia Jax. I get what you're doing. The booking is not surprising to me, but I don't see Nia Jax and Tamina, winning this matchup. I see Sasha and Bayley going into WrestleMania. Now, who are their opponents going to be? Are we going to get Trish and Lita? That's the rumor. Are we going to get Trish and Lita against Bayley and Sasha? I don't think they need the rub. I don't think the tag team titles need the rub. I think you just need to have good matches. But I see Sasha and Bayley here coming out victorious. And then you've got the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, the Usos, the Uso Penitentiary. Will it be for Shane McMahon and The Miz? Now, I don't want to go off rumors or I don't want to book myself into WrestleMania, but the all likelihood of The Miz and Shane McMahon winning this, I don't see it. I think you're going to have The Miz turn on Shane. They've really made the emphasis that Miz's dad is going to be there. So I think that Shane McMahon is going to do something to cost him the championships, and The Miz is going to be like, my father was there, this was my opportunity, and you ruined it for me. So I think that we're going to get that Shane versus Miz, that lead up to WrestleMania in their singles match. Asuka and Mandy Rose. Is Asuka, in my eyes, in your eyes, is she a placeholder? Is she one that's holding that title for someone that Vince McMahon and the WWE wants to push in Lacey Evans? Is she going to hold that title and then face Lacey Evans, which is surprising to me that Lacey's going to get this huge push. But from what we hear, they're all in on Lacey Evans. Will she get that opportunity at WrestleMania? Will we see Asuka and Lacey Evans? I think Asuka will defend her championship. I think she will walk out of Fastlane as the women's champion for SmackDown. And then you've got the Shield, the feel-good moment with Roman Reigns returning. The crowd is behind him. They're cheering everything he does. And he's brought back the Shield. How could the fans not love it? How can they not love him? He wants to bring the band back together. And you're going to see it at Fastlane. Is it the last time we see Dean Ambrose with the Shield? Is Dean Ambrose still leaving? Various reports are conflicting on whether he's going to go. Will this, maybe change Dean's mind? Is he already set on leaving? It's going to be interesting heading into WrestleMania, but the booking of Dean Ambrose has been different as of late, as a guy that's not on his way out, but more of a guy that's, hey, listen, we're going to push to sign you, to re-sign you, till the very last second, till the clock strikes 12 after WrestleMania. But I see the Shield here walking away with the victory, and I'm very frustrated for not Dean Ambrose, I'm sorry. I'm very frustrated for Drew and maybe a Bobby Lashley to an extent. They should be doing more. We should get that Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. We should get Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar because Roman Reigns this year gets a pass from Mania. We get a Roman Reigns pass because he's just coming back from leukemia. You don't want to put him in that spot. It's really tough to kind of pencil him in now in the main event position. So you get a free pass. You get a Roman free main event for WrestleMania. And why not push a guy like Drew McIntyre? He's done to me everything they've asked him to do. And now he's disaligned himself from Dolph Ziggler, and now he's aligned himself with Bobby Lashley and Baron Corbin. I don't get it. What I do want to get is Drew McIntyre versus Brock. Will we see that in the future, or is Brock destined to lose the Universal Championship at WrestleMania to Seth Rollins? But Drew and Bobby Lashley should be doing more. Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens. I love this new Kevin Owens. Give credit, kudos to Kevin Owens for coming back in good shape. He definitely dropped 20, 25 pounds, looks good. Heel Kevin Owens, babyface Kevin Owens, I don't care. Either or, it's great to have him back. Adds depth to that SmackDown Live roster. And this is fresh, this is new. Looking forward to Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan. But I think we're going to get Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, and I think that Daniel Bryan beats Kevin Owens. But not in a way where Kevin Owens looks bad. And then we've got Becky Lynch taking on Charlotte Flair with the stipulation that if Charlotte defeats Becky, she goes on to Mania and it's one-on-one with Ronda. But if Becky Lynch, the man, who's been the ultimate underdog, who's had obstacle after obstacle placed before her, now if she wins, she goes put back in that triple threat match. It'll be a triple threat match. Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda. Do you want to bet against Becky? I'm not going to bet against Becky. Nope. I think that we're going to get a victory here for the man, and we're going to get that main event we've all talked about the last few months at WrestleMania. So it's a good card for Fastlane. It's up to you guys. I mean, am I going to rush on Sunday? Or maybe I'll be frozen inside with the weather we're getting here in New York City, and I'll have no alternative but to be there at 7 o'clock to watch it. Are you going to be excited for this Fastlane? Because that's it. After Fastlane, most of the questions will be answered, and we're going to get now on that road, that short little road, which is just a few weeks for WrestleMania in New York City, MetLife Stadium on April the 7th. Amazing, amazing stuff, man. And that's just a recap and a preview of Fastlane. Really quick, Tommaso Ciampa, we hope you feel better, as the report said that he needs neck surgery in the next few days. And again, this is a guy that when I saw him debut, I really didn't know what impact he was going to have in NXT, let alone WWE. But what a character, what a wrestler, and let's hope that he gets back. He finally got called up to the main roster, the NXT champion, the current NXT champion, and now the matchup between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa that we were supposed to get at TakeOver Brooklyn during WrestleMania weekend is most likely off. But right now, that's not the main concern. The main concern is that Tommaso Ciampa, we really hope you get better. It's a neck injury. It's not disclosed what it is. Is it a fusion? I was talking to the Trendsetter about it. If it's a fusion of anything with the neck, the bump card, gets really, there's not many more, stamps you can stamp on that bump card anymore. If it's something else like Daniel Bryan had, maybe he has, a few more years left. But it's not really important. What is important is the health of Tommaso Ciampa. And here at the iSpot Podcast, we hope you have a very speedy recovery. Various reports say it could be anywhere from 8 to 14 month thing. So again, hoping Tommaso Ciampa the very best, and hope you return to the ring very, very soon. Now, we had a lot of losses to wrestlers this past week. It's really tough. And in the entertainment world, our condolences goes out to the family of King Kong Bundy. A little too young for WrestleMania 2, but I have the network, so I looked back and I watched it, of course. Hulk Hogan, King Kong Bundy, it's the normal big guy monster against Hulk Hogan in a steel cage. Christopher Allen Pallies, of course, was, his real name. And our thoughts go out to King Kong Bundy. Definitely surprised he is not in the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, a lot of people, were bitching this week about Torrie Wilson being inducted. Hey, you know what? Just freaking enjoy the event. How about that? There is no requisite. There is certain things, no criteria you have to meet for the WWE Hall of Fame. For you to get on anywhere and start saying, well, this guy's got a championship, and this guy, this is the WWE. This is sports entertainment, for goodness sake. Just enjoy it. You're going to get DX, Honky Tonk Man, Tori Wilson. There's rumors about Brutus the Barber Beefcake. He's been in the news for the last year, thanks to Conrad Thompson and something to wrestle with. They kind of revived Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I don't mind. At the end of the day, these guys will all go in. China goes in with DX. You know, I've seen people saying, hey, Miss Elizabeth, when does she get in? They will get in. And now WWE, there's so much saturation that now when you take a look at this list, they induct like 10 people, 9 people per Hall of Fame. To me, it should be no more than 5. You want to make changes to the Hall of Fame, you want to take out inductors, you want to maybe take out the video, whatever. Just don't get too many people. 2 hours tops the Hall of Fame should be. You want to make the excuse, hey, we're renting out the Barclays Center, we want to get our money's worth, or, oh, we got to, no, 2 hours tops. Induct 5 people. Headline somebody. Then you'll have more people for next year. Now you're going to have to start inducting The Rock, Undertaker, maybe Triple H again. He'll go in as a 2-time Hall of Famer. So to me, the main issue was there's too many people in the Hall of Fame per year. Should have made it 5, 4. There's some rare occasions, okay, fine, but like every year was like 8, 9. And that's why we were so freaking bored with the Hall of Fame. We were like, okay, we got to go. So thoughts and prayers with King Kong Bundy, who definitely should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Luke Perry, 90210 star, whose son actually wrestles now in AEW, Jungle Boy. He passed away at 52, complications of a severe stroke early Monday. And man, it just makes you think, 52 is way too young. Life is short, treasure it. Definitely saddened by that. 90210, man, that's like my teenage youth. Yeah, I'll admit, I saw 90210. Dylan and Brenda, Kelly and Dylan. Who were you a fan of? Me particularly, I was a Kelly and Dylan fan. I really didn't root for Brenda. But yeah, man, that sucks. And our hearts go out to Jungle Boy, who actually pulled out of a bar wrestling event. And the question is, who cares why? He's grieving. And our condolences to the family. Again, Luke Perry was an iconic 90s icon. Everybody wanted to be him. He was a heartthrob. Dylan McKay is an iconic character in the 90s. If you're a 90s child, you know what I'm talking about. 90210, Luke Perry, our condolences. Rest in peace, brother. Alex Trebek, of course, we know him from past WrestleManias, early WrestleManias, who revealed he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Our prayers are with you. You're a fighter. You're Canadian. And again, an iconic show in Jeopardy. It's been on forever. And again, we're rooting for you, Alex Trebek. And then, of course, Keith Flint from Prodigy, who passed away too of apparent suicide. Man, it's been a very sad week. I mean, with this weather in New York and just hearing all this horrible news, it's just been a very tough week. We got FastLane coming up on Sunday. We're on the road to WrestleMania. We're going to be at the Bullet Club block party just a few hours before WrestleMania at Red's Restaurant in Carlstadt, New Jersey. The High Spot Podcast will be there. We got Battle Club Pro on April the 3rd. We will be there for podcast show, covering it for bodyslam.net. And you realize, though, that life is short, guys. So definitely Keith Flint, of course, from Prodigy, frontman. Again, rest in peace. Mental illness is a serious thing, guys. So our thoughts and prayers. I remember hearing that song. That was probably the first song, not hip-hop or pop, that I ever heard that I was like, damn, man, that's awesome. Wow. Also synonymous, too, if you're an ECW fan, of the whole Al Snow versus Shane Douglas feud. I believe it was WrestlePalooza. That was the backdrop song. I was talking about it with the Trendsetter. Couldn't remember it. But man, again, something with the 90s, man. It hits you when it's with the 90s. When it's your time period, the 90s, it hits you, man. Time goes by fast. You got to enjoy these days, these moments that you have. Treasure it. Treasure life. So all those announcements, too. And also, the High Spot Podcast now, starting today, you can get our T-shirts. Beautiful charcoal, by the way, at ProWrestlingTees.com/HighSpotPodcast. Yes, get the shirt. Buy the shirt. As Kevin Nash used to say about the NWO shirts, buy the shirt. That is going to be great. So definitely help us out. ProWrestlingTees.com/HighSpotPodcast. Get the High Spot Podcast shirt. It's a very nice looking shirt. We'll put it up on the Instagram too. Send you a link there. Go to the highspotpodcast.com. There'll be a link there too. Just go to ProWrestlingTees.com/HighSpotPodcast. And our shirt will be there. Our first ever shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees. Looking forward to it. Man, it was a huge, huge task. When you can count on a few fingers how many people are behind this High Spot podcast and all the stuff that gets done, it's crazy. So what a huge accomplishment to actually have our shirt on ProWrestlingTees.com. I mean, ProWrestlingTees.com is everywhere. They're the official outfitter for AEW, for all the podcasts out there, all the wrestlers that you know, independent wrestlers, even Stone Cold, Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, CM Punk. It's a big deal, man. Onward and upward. That's what the Trendsetter and I are aiming to do. So we're on Cheap Pops. Follow us on Twitter at HighSpot Podcast. HighSpotPodcast.com for further details on the Bullet Club Block Party. We'll have interviews. We'll dissect the G1 Supercard from the night before. Get some guests on the show too. It's going to be a great time. And then take the shuttle and go to Mania. That's right. Shuttle service to WrestleMania. The High Spot Podcast will be at Red's Restaurant in Carlstadt, New Jersey, just a few hours before WrestleMania, where you're going to get Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. In the famous words of The Shield and Roman Reigns, believe that. And congratulations finally to Access TV and Women of Wrestling WOW. They have signed a new deal where they're going to have 24 episodes in the spring and the fall. Obviously, it was a huge success, and Jeannie Buss and David McClain, the owners of that, Tessa Blanchard and Selena Majors will be trainers for their very first all-women's school in Long Beach. So kudos out to them. Kudos to WOW. And again, it just shows you the progression of women's wrestling right now around the world. So that's awesome. So, I mean, what a tremendous way to, end the show on a high. The success of women's wrestling, and we're going to see it, culminate at least as big as possible on the grandest stage of them all at WrestleMania. So it's going to be an amazing time. We will be back with you next week. WrestleMania now in full gear. We'll have a FastLane recap, and of course, keep up with the High Spot Podcast on all announcements on our website, on our social media. Follow us at highspotpodcast.com. And we leave you with now Prodigy Breathe. Remember, guys, we are the Jersey Wrecking Crew. For the Trendsetter Brian Berga, I am Jeff Martin. Remember, we do it for you, the crew. See you next week. High Spot Podcast on Cheap Pops and Spreaker.